Okay, so before you do any research on the internet, anything other than the Gale databases, you're going to have to start asking yourselves whether the information is credible or not. So basically, what I want you to do is I want you to take a second to jot down what you think is what is credible information. Tell me what you think that is. Pause it. Okay, so now that you've jotted it down, hopefully you said something like it is good information from a good source, but I'm going to teach you specifically how to find that out. There's a rubric that you can use if you want a structured model for individual websites that I will put on the website that is basically will tell you whether or not any individual website scores high enough. But I'm going to just right now talk to you in broad terms. When you are looking at websites, if you need to um, determine, or when you need to determine whether it's good or if it's not. So the first, CRAP is an acronym, and you are going to, for every website, look to see if it's its currency, its relevance, its authority, its accuracy, and its purpose. Okay, and we call it the CRAP test. So we're looking to see if things on the internet are good quality sources or if they're crap. So currency, basically you're looking to see if the information is too old, if it's still valid, and do you know how old the information is. So go ahead and pause the video and answer the question, what is currency? All right, welcome back. What you're going to do is when you are looking on websites, you need to make sure that the date is posted. On this particular example, it is posted down to the minute, down to the time. You don't have to be that specific, but if you don't have at least a year, you really probably shouldn't use that website. Also, you're going to then have to ask yourself if that information is still valid. The internet was around when I was in high school. I was a freshman in high school back in 1994. That was a long time ago, y'all. Those web pages may still be out there. Do you want to take the risk of using 20-year-old information? Probably not. So make sure it has at least the year. And then in some instances, even if the year was recent, you may not want to use it. For example, sorry, I lost my spot. For example, in the case of technology, science, medicine, and news. Also, here's an example. There was a revolution in Egypt recently. So if you are looking at a source and you're looking at a website and you're trying to determine whether it's valid or not, and you are looking at a website and it's only 5 years old, but it's talking about the government of Egypt, it's too old because that has changed already. However, if you're looking at, let's say you're doing research on the cuisine of Egypt, like what are their most popular ethnic dishes, national dishes, that probably hasn't changed in the last 5 years. So you're going to have to ask yourself, well, what specific kind of information do I need and how quickly does that information change? All right, relevance. Does it fit your needs? Is it intended for you? Does it make sense to you? So if you are looking for a job as an archaeologist, does this webpage make sense? Hopefully you're saying no, because it's not written for job seekers. It's written for kids. This webpage, however, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, was written for job seekers. So this would be a more appropriate website for you to use. Authority is who is publishing the information. Is it a person? Is it an organization? Are they experts? Do you trust them? Do they have their contact information if you have more questions or need to make corrections? That's a really big one. For example, as a librarian, if I publish something on the internet and I say, I write an article about how I'm not writing this article, I don't believe this, but let's say I did. Let's say that I think that we should not have books anymore, everything should be online. Let's say that was my thesis. It's not, but pretend. Well, if I just signed it at the bottom, a librarian, that's not authoritative. However, if I said that I'm Laura Gladney Lemon, this is where I got my education in library science. I am currently a librarian at Clear Creek High School in League City, Texas, and I give my email address and perhaps my phone number. That is much more authoritative for a couple of reasons. First, if somebody has questions, they can ask me. But more importantly, if I put something completely crazy out there, completely crazy, it would be very simple for the person who had a complaint about what I was saying because it was so crazy to simply look up to see who the principal or the library director here in Clear Creek was and call and make a complaint to them. If I just signed it anonymously, I can put whatever I want out there and not have any repercussions at all. So I am a more credible source if I put my contact information. For example, this is talking about cancer, which is something, that's very serious, which you may or may not need to research sometime in your life. But there is no way to get a hold of this person. They did not say who they are. They did not say what their background in cancer is. I mean, it could have just been any old person. It could have been a third grader doing a project on cancer. Is that who you want to look to cite as a source? No. Medline Plus, however, does list its credibility. It says that it is part of the United States National Library of Medicine. It is affiliated with the National Institute of Health. So this would be a credible source. Okay, some people in the past may have told you that anytime you see a .edu or .org, it's okay. .com is a commercial site that can be bought from anybody, but a .gov is only the government. A .gov you can absolutely trust as a credible source because only the government publishes that information. However, a .com anybody can buy. A .org anybody can buy. For example, when I was in high school, I wanted to have a cool website for my blog, so I bought Egocentric, but egocentric.com was bought, so I just bought .org. If you have like $15 in a credit card, you can buy a .org. So just because it says .org doesn't actually mean it is, so you have to question that. Also, for .edu, I've graduated from the University of Texas, and one of the perks of being a graduate from the University of Texas is that I get web space from the University of Texas. So I can publish anything I want, and it will be at www.utexas.edu/ and then my domain. Well, just because I put something out there, I don't have the same authority as the University of Texas putting something out there. So you need to make sure if you're using a .edu that you're actually reading something from the college, not something that just somebody affiliated with the college said. Okay, accuracy. Is it reliable? Is it truthful? Is it correct? Does it have a professional appearance? And are they citing their sources? It's very important that people on the internet cite their sources. And sometimes things just sound too suspicious. The Onion is hilarious, but it's actually not news. But as somebody who didn't know that it was a joke site might go there thinking it was. But if it's like too suspicious, it probably is. Also, this website doesn't have a professional appearance. If it doesn't have a professional appearance, it's probably not professional. And then finally, even websites that do look professional, you need to check the source and find where they're from. This, for example, said that they're from stormfront.org, but if you look carefully, it's associated with a place called White Pride Worldwide. It would not be appropriate to take information from a source that clearly has a political motive about Martin Luther King from a white supremacist group. Even if it looks professional, even if they list their contact information, even if they list their sources, if they are clearly a political organization, you should not be taking information from there about things having to do with race because they have a political agenda. Okay, purpose. Why does a website exist? Is it there to inform you? Is it there to educate you? Or is it there to sell you something? This, for example, is from a website that is trying to sell you these shoes, and they may give you lots of information. The reason that people wear shoes like this is because supposedly it helps you run in a more natural form, and so runners and people exercising have less problems. For example, like heel striking. Well, that's all good and well. But there may be some problems too. So they're only going to give you the positive side of their product. They're not going to give you the potential negative side too. So make sure that when you're doing research, you're looking for sources just like the last example of the white supremacist group. They're not unbiased. A place trying to sell you something is also not unbiased. Alright, so what is the purpose of the web page is something you have to ask. The purpose of this web page is to educate for research. It says right here, the U.S. National Library of Medicine, and it is specifically to provide information about medicine to the public. Okay, so we are looking to decide if it is crap or not. So we have to look for currency, which is how old it was, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose. If it meets those things, then it is a good, legitimate site. If it does not meet all of these things, then it's not a good, legitimate site for research, and you shouldn't use it. You need to keep looking to see if you can find another site that contains the same information but would pass the test. Okay, Wikipedia. I have not met a teacher in the school yet who allows Wikipedia, and always you have to refer to what your individual teacher says. I haven't met a teacher yet who says that you can use Wikipedia. If a teacher says that, I'm not in an argument with them, but Wikipedia has a major problem. And the major problem Wikipedia has, and the reason that most people won't let you use it, is because anybody can change it. Who are these people that changed it? I don't know. I don't know if I can trust them or not. So you shouldn't cite Wikipedia as a source. That said, and you should talk to your teacher about this, but there is one thing about Wikipedia that I think is helpful in the research process. If you scroll down to the bottom of the article, all Wikipedia articles should have citations listed. For example, this gives you a link to a really good quality source on this topic. It comes from the Cambridge University Press. It gives you a summary. It has a PDF right there for you to look at. So I, as your librarian, don't have a problem with you looking at the sources in Wikipedia and determining whether the sources are legitimate and credible or not, but you can't just cite Wikipedia unless your teacher tells you otherwise. Also, Google is pretty cool because there is an advanced search option. If you click this little wheel thing, click advanced search. So if you want to limit something, like say you only want it to be a .gov site, or you only want it to be within a certain date range, you can do that. And so that's pretty cool about Google, that you can limit it using the advanced search. Okay, that was a lot of information, but that is how you can tell whether something is credible or not on the internet. I will also post on the website the actual rubric that you can use.